kunja bihari. Jaya Radha Madhava Jaya Kunja Bihari. Jaya Radha Madhava Jaya Kunja Bihari. Jaya Gopi Jana Vallabha Jaya Girivara Dhari. Jaya Girivara Dhari. Jaya Gopi Jana Vallabha Jaya Girivara Dhari. Jaya Girivara Dhari. Yashodanandana Jaya Braja Jana Ranjana. Jaya Yashodanandana Jaya Braja Jana Ranjana. Jaya Jamuna Tira Vanachari Jaya Kunja Bihari. Jaya Jamuna Tira Vanachari Jaya Kunja Bihari. जय जमुना तीरवनचारी जय कुंज बिहारी जय राधा माधव जय कुंज बिहारी जय ओम विष्णुपाद परमहंस परिव्राजकाचार्य अष्टोत्तर शतश्री श्रीमद हिज डिवाइन गेस्ट ऐसी भक्ति वेदांत स्वामी शील प्रभुपाद की, इस्कॉन फाउंडर आचार्य शील प्रभुपाद की जय। ओम विष्णुपाद परमहंस परिव्राजकाचार्य अष्टोत्तर शतश्री श्रीमद भक्ति सिद्धांत सरस्वती ठाकुर शील प्रभुपाद की, अनंत कोटि वैष्णव वृंद की, नाम आचार्य शील हरिदास ठाकुर की। प्रेम से कहो श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर शिवासदि गौर भक्त वृंद की। श्री श्री राधा कृष्ण गोप गोपीनाथ श्याम कुंड राधा कुंड गिरि गोवर्धन की, मथुरा वृंदावन धाम की, नवद्वीप मायापुर धाम की, गंगा माई यमुना माई की, भक्ति देवी तुलसी महारानी की, समवेत भक्त वृंद की, निताई गौर प्रेमानंदे। All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to Sri Sri Guru and Gauranga. Reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 2nd, Chapter 7 and text number 10. Who will recite the sloka? Naver asava prasan rishabha asasu devi sunur. Yo vai chachara samadrik jara yoga charyam. Yat paramahansayam risaya padam amananti. Swasta prasanta karanaha parimukta sangaha. Naver asav rishabha asasu devi sunur. Yo vai chachar samadrik jada yoga charyam. Yat paramahansayam risaya padam amananti. Swasta prasanta karanaha parimukta sangaha. Naver asav rishabha asasu devi sunur. Yo vai chachar samadrik jada yoga charyam. Yat paramahansayam risaya padam amananti. Swasta prasanta karanaha parimukta sangaha. Naver asav rishabha asasu devi sunur. Yo vai chachar samadrik jada yoga charyam. Yat paramahansayam risaya padam amananti. Swasta prasanta karanaha parimukta sangaha. Naver Asava Rishabha Asasu Devi Shunu. Yo vai chachara samadrik jada yoga charyam. Yat paramansayam risaya padam amananti. Swasta prasanta karana parimukta sangaha. Naver asav risabha asasu devi shunur. Yo vai chachara samadrik jada yoga charyam. Yat paramahansayam risaya padam amananti. Swasta pahanta karana parimukta sangaha. Matajis. Naver asav risabha asasu devi shunur. Yo vai chachara samadra kusaryam. Yat paramahansayam risaya padam amananti. Swasta prasanta karana parimukta sangaha. Nabhe by Maharaj Navi. Aso, the personality of Godhead. Rishabha, Rishabh. Asa, become. Sudevi, Sudevi. Sunuhu, the son of. Yaha, who. Vai, certainly. Chachara, performed. Samadrik, equibalanced. Jada, material. Yoga charyam, performance of yoga. Yat, which. Paramhansayam, the highest stage of perfection. Rishaha, the learned sages. Padam, situation. Amananti, do accept. Swasta, self-reposed. Prasanta, suspended. Karanaha, the material senses. Parimukta, perfectly liberated. Sangaha, material contamination. We are going to read the translation. The Lord appeared as the son of Sudevi. I can read. So, the Lord appeared as the son of Sudevi, the wife of King Navi, and was known as Rishabhadev. He performed materialistic yoga to equibalance the mind. This stage is also accepted as the highest perfectional situation of liberation, wherein one is situated in one's self and is completely satisfied. Purport. Out of many types of mystic performances of self-realization, the process of Jada Yoga is also one accepted by authorities. This Jada Yoga involves practicing becoming like a dumb stone and not being affected by material reactions. Just as a stone is indifferent to all kinds of attacks and re-attacks, of external situations. Similarly, one practices Jada Yoga by tolerating voluntary infliction of pain upon the material body. Such yogis, out of many self-infliction methods, practice plucking plucking out the hairs on their heads without shaving and without any instrumental help. But the real purpose of such Jada Yoga practice is to get free from all material affection and to be completely situated in the self. At the last stage of his life, Emperor Rishabhadev wandered like a dumb madman, unaffected by all kinds of bodily mistreatment. Seeing him like a madman, wandering naked with long hair and a long beard, less intelligent children and men in the street used to spit on him and urinate on his body. He used to lie on his own stool and never move, but the stool of his body was fragrant like the smell of fragrant flowers, and a saintly person would recognize him as a Paramahansa, one in the highest state of human perfection. One who is not able to make his stool fragrant should not, however, imitate Emperor Rishabhadev. The practice of Jada Yoga was possible for Rishabhadev and others on the same level of perfection, but such an uncommon practice is impossible for an ordinary man. The real purpose of Jada Yoga, as mentioned here in this verse, is prasanta karana, or subduing the senses. The whole process of yoga, under whatever heading it may be, is to control the unbridled material senses and thus prepare oneself for self-realization. In this age, specifically, this Jada Yoga cannot be of any practical value, but on the other hand, the practice of Bhakti Yoga is feasible because it is just suitable for this age. The simple method of hearing from the right source, Srimad Bhagavatam, will lead one to the highest perfectional stage of yoga. Rishabhadev was the son of King Navi and the grandson of King Agnitra, and he was the father of King Bharat, after whose name this planet Earth was called Bharatvarsha. Rishabhadev's mother was also known as Meru Devi. Although her name is mentioned here as Sudevi, it is sometimes proposed as Sudevi was another wife of King Navi. But since King Rishabhadev is mentioned elsewhere as the son of Meru Devi, it is clear that Meru Devi and Sudevi are the same person under different names. Om Ajnana Timirandhasya Jnananjana Salakaya Chakshur Inmilitam Yena Tasme Sri Gurave Namaha Sri Chaitanya Manovistam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swam Rupa Kadamaiham Dadati Swapadantikam Bandeham Sri Guru Sri Yuta Padakamalan Sri Gurun Vaishnavamscha Sri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunatha Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Sabadhutam Parijana Saitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Sri Sri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Sri Visakha Nitamscha Namo Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Preshtaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swami Niti Namine Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Sunyavadi Paschatya Desatarine Jaya Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhara Shivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Seeking your blessings, especially senior devotees, so that I'll be able to speak something about Lord Rishabhadev today. Lord Rishabhadev, especially in this chapter, the second canto, 7th chapter, is the scheduled incarnation of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. The Lord has taken many incarnations in this chapter, especially 23 in number. He has taken the incarnations in this chapter. And Lord Rishabhadev's incarnation is the 9th one. So prior to he has taken, but he hasn't taken in one time. In this planet, he has taken the incarnations in different times. So Lord Rishabhadev's appearance is the 9th incarnation in this chapter, although the Lord's appearances are not easy to explain in a human, as a human form by us. Lord has taken many incarnations. We don't have even the scriptures, not many scriptures also mentioned the many incarnations. So there is many incarnations, but the 23 incarnations here in this chapter, the Lord has accepted, incarnated, and the 9th one is Lord Rishabhadev's appearance. Lord Rishabhadev, the appearance of Lord Rishabhadev is really, how can we say, it was the request of his father, King Navi and Meru Devi or Sudevi. King Navi and Sudevi or Meru Devi, they have performed many austerities and sacrifices. They didn't have any son. So they have performed so many sacrifices, so many austerities they have gone through, and they were praying to have a son like the Supreme Personality of Godhead. They are very bit tricky. So they were thinking that only they want to have a son like the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So they have started a sacrifice along with so many great sages. The great sages, they were helping quite a lot at that time. They have started praying to the Lord that, please come and help us. Our king, he wants a son like you. So by the prayers of the sages, great sages, and King Navi and Meru Devi, the Lord has appeared as Lord Vishnu. The purpose of his appearance, Lord Vishnu, the purpose why he's coming here, he knows already. So then the Lord, once he appears before the sages and in front of Navi, King Navi and Meru Devi, the Lord says in this way, O great sages, I'm certainly very pleased with your prayers. You are all truthful. You have prayed for the benediction of a son like me for King Navi. But this is very difficult to obtain. Since I am the Supreme Person without a second, and since no one is equal to me, another personality like me is not possible to find. So the Lord is saying such a wonderful way. In any case, because you are all qualified Brahmanas, your vibration should not prove untrue. I consider a Brahman who are well qualified with Brahmanical qualities to be as good as my own mouth. In Bhagavad Gita, Krishna says the Brahmanas are coming from my face or from my mouth. Similarly, in the Purusha Sukta mantra, there is a mantra specially recited, Brahmanasyo mukhamasit, Bahu rajanya kritaha, Uru tadasya yad vaishya, Padbhyam gum sudra ajayata. So, in this mantra, it says, Brahmanasya mukhamasit. The Brahmanas are coming, the face from the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Bahu rajanya krita. Bahu means the arms. From the arms and from the chest, the rajanya krita means the Kshatriyas, they have come from the arms, the mighty arms of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Uru tadasya yad vaishya. The Vaishyas, they have come from the west. And Padvyam gum sudra ajayat. And from the feet, the Sudras has come out. So that's the way how the Lord has taken care of the universe. But none of them, either Brahman or Sudras, they are non-different from each other because they are coming out from the Supreme Personality of Godhead. The lotus feet of the Supreme Personality of Godhead is non-different from his face. Angani yasya sakalendriya vritimanti. The Lord's face and the Lord's lotus feet is non-different. So whomever comes, wherever they are coming from, they are all the super souls, the souls. They are coming from the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So that's why there should not be any distinction between the Brahmanas, Kshatriyas, Vaishya and Sudras. Of course, there can be distinction if someone is not chanting the holy name and someone is chanting or following the four regulatory principles and following the bhakti. Otherwise, there are not such distinctions should be made. So the Lord again says, since I cannot find anyone equal to me, I shall personally expand myself into a plenary portion and thus advance myself in the womb of Meru Devi, the wife of Maharaj Navi, the son of Agnidra. So Agnidra is the father of King Navi. So the Lord finally accepts that, okay, since I cannot find out anyone equal to me, then I will incarnate, I will come and to the womb of Meru Devi, and I will be the son of Maharaj Navi and Meru Devi. So that's the way the Lord has accepted. The Lord has, after some time, the Lord has taken birth. We don't say birth appeared, the Lord has appeared from the womb of Meru Devi. By birth, the Lord has exhibited the supreme qualities. He was all the time exhibiting the supreme quality, like all the six opulences as the Supreme Personality of Godhead would have. And his bodily build was very strong from the childhood. He was exhibiting very strength, power, intelligence, so many wonderful qualities, like as good as like the Supreme Personality of Godhead. That's according to King Navi. Because sometimes the father and mother, they do forget the qualities, the power of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, because they have to take care of the son like their son. Once they are going to be thinking that he is the Supreme Personality of Godhead, they can't consider him anymore the son. They will worship him. So from the childhood, the Lord was showing his all the good qualities as the Supreme Personality of Godhead. There is so many spots in his feet, like Dwaja, Vajra, Ankush, flag, Vajra, thunderbolt, many different weapons in his lotus feet. There was so many marks. So those are the characteristics of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. When he comes, all the marks, he comes with all the marks in his feet, in his hand, many in his chest. There is many different marks we will see in that kind of, when the Lord is appearing. King Navi, his wife Marudevi, along with many great, okay, we have read that. Although I have taken from the fifth canto, especially Lord Rishabhadev's appearance and his activities, so I'm reading a little bit in between. Although Lord Rishabhadev's body was transcendental, he was acting like a normal being. He was not exhibiting like I'm God, so you have to worship me. He was exhibiting like a simple, normal human being from the childhood. But Lord Rishabhadev's qualities are not unnoticed by the father, Navi, King Navi. King Navi was always noticing his all good qualities. Lord Rishabhadev's well-built body with all the symptoms of Godhead, strength, beauty, name, fame, influence, and enthusiasm. When the father Maharaj Navi saw all these qualities, he thought his son to be the best of human being or the supreme being. So the name Rishabh, King Navi has given to Rishabhadev, the main reason was all these good qualities, or a person who is best of all the beings, living beings, or the supreme. So he was exhibiting all the supreme qualities. That's why his name was, the father has called Rishabh. He named him Rishabh, the best of among all the best. In Vishnu Puran, Parasar Muni has said about the definition of the Supreme Personality of Godhead or Bhagavan. Aisharyasya samagrasya viryasya yashasasriha jnana vairagyaschaiva sanam bhaga itirana. The six opulences of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. No matter whichever incarnation he has come to the material world, he has exhibited all his opulences like the six glorious opulences, namely wealth, strength, fame, beauty, knowledge, and renunciation. All in full. So they are not partially, like we have some wealth, we have some beauty, we have some influence, all these things we have. But the Lord has all unlimited. That's the difference between us and the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Quantitatively, we are not equal to the Supreme Personality of Godhead. We are always the inferior compared to the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So the Lord started exhibiting all his wonderful, wonderful qualities, and it was noticed by the Father. That's why his name was called Rishabh, the best among us, all the bests, or the Supreme. Then Lord Rishabhadev has grown up by seeing his good qualities, his well behavior towards the citizens. Father Navi thought that this is the best time for me to retire. I will take the sannyas and my son will run the kingdom. So the kingdom was the Jambudip. Lord Rishabhadev was given the throne to take care of the citizens. The citizens were so happy. They were thinking that they are like the son of Rishabhadev. They are non-different, like the own son of Lord Rishabhadev. They were feeling in this way. And Lord Rishabhadev has taken care so well to all the citizens, the animals living under the umbrella of Lord Rishabhadev. They were very pleased. And Lord Rishabhadev had 100 sons while he was ruling the kingdom. And his oldest son name is Bharat, King Bharat, we know that. By his name, Srila Prabhupada said that the whole kingdom, Jambudip, was called Bharat Varsha. He became the very famous person by ruling the Jambudip. And after that, so Lord Rishabhadev, 100 sons. The eldest son, Bharat Maharaj, got the throne, and 9 sons. After another older 9 sons, after Rishabhadev, they were helping King Bharat to rule the kingdom. So they got in the Jambudip there was 9 islands, and they got the 9 islands they were ruling under the control of Jada Bharat. And another 9 sons become very famous. They were called the Navayogendras. These Navayogendras, they were so much in a higher platform, well situated. They were the preacher of the Srimad Bhagavatam. They started preaching the Srimad Bhagavatam. They would travel to one planet to another planet without any restrictions. They were living naked, and they were preaching the Krishna consciousness in different planets. Wherever they want to go, they will go all together in one, the whole 9, they will go, different planets. So they were preaching the Srimad Bhagavatam. Rest 81 sons, so he has 100. 9, 9, 18 plus Maharaj Bharat, so it was 19, so another 81 sons. They become twice born, or they become the Brahmanas, and they started initiating and doing the karma kanda, all different things they have done. So by that way, they become perfected. Jai Sri Sri Radha Gokulananda ki, Sri Sri Sitaram Lakshmana Hanuman, Sri Sri Gaunitai ki. So Lord Rishabhadev realized now that now I have distributed all my duties to my sons, so I have nothing left. Now I'm going to leave the kingdom, and I'm going to be renunciated. So he started follow the practice of the Jada Yoga. Srila Prabhupada very clearly says that in this age of Kali, Jada Yoga is highly impossible for a human being. Jada Yoga means we can take the example of Rishabhadev himself. He was not wearing clothes, leaving the long hair, beard, forget about eating. And not only that, the effect of the material nature is most important here. How Lord Rishabhadev has exhibited his power and potency in the different circumstances and situations. Like for a human being, we need, not only human being, for any other animals, in the winter we need shelter. We need clothes, winter clothes to cover our body. Many different way we need the help, like we put heating on to survive ourselves. Similarly, in the summertime, people put the fan or air conditioning to get the help from whatever they can to survive. But here Lord Rishabhadev was totally different. He was not affected by this material natures, all the causes like rain, cold, summer, winter, anything. It was not affected. So he was totally unaffected by the effect of the material nature. So that way he has performed the Jada Yoga. Srila Prabhupada says that this Jada Yoga is just impossible in this material world. And for the age, especially the age of Kali, In Kali Yuga, the best renunciation or best way to achieve the Supreme Personality of Godhead is to practice Krishna consciousness or bhakti, following the four regulative principles, chanting the holy name Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Srila Prabhupada and our great acharyas have said that by practicing the chanting of the holy name, one can attain the Supreme Personality of Godhead. How easy it is for us and how hard the Jada Yoga is. So, for the age of Kali, Srila Prabhupada is specially saying that it's not so necessary to practice this. But seeing the popularity of Lord Rishabhadev, when he was practicing this Jada Yoga, of course he was having difficulties. He never had difficulties, of course, but on the street, the children, the less intelligent people, they would urinate him or spit on him, thinking that he's very low class. But the Lord was unaffected. But he got so many followers same time. There is so many. Although he was living on the street or living in a jungle, he would have so many followers, thousands of followers, they would follow him. So, seeing Lord Rishabhadev's glories, at that time there was a king named Arhat. He thought that I am a king, I don't have that kind of popularity as much Lord Rishabhadev has. So why not I will also follow him, imitate him. He started imitating. So that's why Srila Prabhupada very clearly says that someone should not imitate Lord Rishabhadev. His stage was Paramhansa. And Rishabh, he very clearly says here that, if someone is imitating, like, Lord Rishabhadev was lying on his stool and his stool would be smell up to miles, and it will smell like a fragrant flower, the most, fragrant flowers. That is the characteristics of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So, Srila Prabhupada is very clearly says here that nobody should imitate Lord Rishabhadev. But King Arhat, he thought that he will start doing this. So then there was a new religion started from King Arhat. It was not from Lord Rishabhadev. So the Jain religion has started from there. And we can see that they can pluck their hair. They will be bleeding. We have seen, maybe someone has noticed, I have noticed, they will pluck their hair. Just to tolerate the effect of the material nature, the pain. But it is not necessary. Srila Prabhupada says that without instrument they just pluck their hair and they tolerate the pain. You don't need to do that. We don't need to follow that path. Since Krishna can be achieved by seriously chanting the holy name and following the four regulative principles, follow our acharyas, then why would we do such kind of hard-hitting exercises? I was talking to Srinivasa Acharya Prabhu, asking him how he is doing. Then he was saying that, what can be better for me? Living in the Bhaktivedanta Manor Dham, chanting the holy name, having the association of the devotees, and having wonderful prasadam. So that's he's having a good rest, I think. But it is true that having all these wonderful things in the life, we don't need further. Anyways, so this is the wonderful activities of Lord Rishabhadev. When Lord Rishabhadev was about to leave his household life, he called his 100 sons. And then he started instructing them. It was so nice. The instructions of Lord Rishabhadev we can find out in the 5th canto. So beautiful, good for our own consciousness, we can recite one sloka especially, the first one of the advice of Lord Rishabhadev. Rishabha Vacha Nayang Deha Deha Bhajang Niloke Kastan Kama Naharte Vidbhujaye Tapo Divyang Putra Kayena Sattvam Suddha Yadosmat Brahma Sakhyam Pranantam. So Lord Rishabhadev says, my dear boys, of all the living entities who have accepted material bodies in this world, one who has been awarded this human form should not work hard day and night simply for sense gratification, which is available even for dogs and hogs that eat stool. One should engage in penance and austerity to attain the divine position of devotional service. By such activity, one's heart is purified, and when one attains this position, he attains eternal blissful life, which is transcendental to material happiness and which continues forever. So this is one of the instruction of Lord Rishabhadev to his sons. We are going to stop here, and if there is any questions or comments, please. Yes.
Hare Krishna, Guru. Thank you for the class. I was just wondering about this process of Jada Yoga. It seems to involve like ignoring all the external things, but it also doesn't seem to involve anything else. You know what I mean?
Yes, the Jada Yoga practice is a practice that a person is achieving the stage of Paramahansa or Avadhuta. They called also Avadhuta. But to achieve this, first thing, to achieve this stage is highly impossible in this material world. Second thing, a person who is following this step, they have to go through the pain and suffering to just controlling the senses and the mind. They have to go through this kind of austerities. Our devotees, if we compare with that austerity, I don't want to go into the deep, the avadhutas, how they practice, or the people who follows that Paramahansa stage. It is according to Shastra, it is accepted this way to achieve the Supreme Personality of Godhead. But it's not easy. It is highly impossible. And the activities of a Paramahansa is like, Prabhupada says that we can just take one example of Prabhupada, that Lord Rishabhadev, he would pass the stool and he would lie on the stool, but his stool would be smell like a fragrant flower. Can we find someone who is exactly like that in this material world? Impossible. Since it is impossible, that's why it is not appropriate for this age of Kali. Is there any, I don't want to go into the deep in this because it's not that important for us, I think for devotees. Never follow this stage. It's not that important. We can easily have the association of Krishna and we can realize quite a lot compared to the Avadhuta stage or the Paramahansa stage in that way. We have example like Jada Bharat. He was also in a Paramahansa stage and Avadhuta. But we can't follow that. It's not just possible in this age. Yes.
I just want to ask how to find the purpose of your life.
Purpose of the life, there is so many ways, especially associating with devotees, reading the Bhagavad Gita, Srimad Bhagavatam, and there is many other scriptures uh, written by our acharyas, great acharyas, and having the prasadam, offering whatever we are eating, offering to Krishna. And then we can understand the purpose of the life. The purpose of the life is to serve the Supreme Personality of Godhead. By nature, we are the spirit souls. We come to this universe when we are the womb of our mothers. We are praying to the Supreme Person that please let me go out. Once I get out, I will definitely pray you. I will just, worship you. That's all going to be on my life. And as soon we come to the contact of this material world, all of a sudden our consciousness become impure and we forget the real goal why we came out from the womb of the mother or why we came to this material world. So the purpose of the life, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu says that Jiver Swarup Hoy Krishna Nityadas, the servant of the servant of the servant of Krishna. So we should supposed to be the servant of Krishna or his devotees. That way we can achieve the goal or the purpose we can understand. Did that make sense? Yeah. Any other questions? Yes, Mataji.
Hare Krishna Prabhu, thank you so much for a wonderful class. I just wanted to ask, so you mentioned that when the king started to imitate the Lord because he became envious, the whole religion came out from that. So I was wondering what kind of religion was that?
That's the Jain religion.
Okay.
The Jain, they especially there is two groups of Jain. One is Shwetambar and another is Digambar. The Digambar Jain is they don't wear any cloth. And they pluck their hair just pulling. So there is many, very tough. They follow that. And the age of Kali, we don't need to follow that hard rule. So that's the religion. We don't say anything wrong about the religion. What we say is that, it's a really hard way to achieve the goal. श्रीमद् भागवतम की, श्रील प्रभुपाद की, गौर प्रेमानंदे। Thank you.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama.